Hey, hey, dinosaur fans. You might have seen the most recent video I uploaded was unpacking my copy of Dinosaur Hunting, which is where this super high quality, high resolution scan of the cover art comes from. I haven't cleaned this stuff up yet, but record. I did record. Sorry, I did scan the manual over the weekend. I haven't cleaned it up or made a PDF or anything out of it because I've been a little bit distracted with other stuff I found on the disk. So let me hop over here to my other desktop and should be good. Yeah, this is a program called Greed Explorer, which I was a little worried at first downloading something called Greed Explorer from questionable parts of the internet. But it's turned out to be okay. And it looks like in the case of dinosaur hunting, I got super lucky. What I was originally looking for was to see if I could get some of the art out of the game to use for backgrounds in the video, like the background you're seeing behind the frame here. But it's led to so much more. For starters, we've got all the texture maps for all the characters. There's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in his native state, his native stretched out state, his eyeball. So we've got all the texture maps. We've got some good stuff like this. Pretty reasonable resolution, like 1024 by 512. It's 480 sized backgrounds. Some of the effects. This stuff is just fascinating to look through. This might be more interesting to you if you've seen the game in action and know where some of these things fit in, or after the fact, after whatever playthrough I'm going to end up with here. There's Jean, Katie, there's a lens flare, there's our man Malone looking, yep, derp as ever, in the game or outside of the game. This is all fascinating. This is great, like sprite stuff to be able to open. These are some of the titles from the mini game. These are all of these searchable objects in the game. So all these different parts of the ground. This is possibly the highest res texture of dinosaur poop that you're liable to find. Here's our red extract, blue, green for mixing tranquilizer bullets. There's a bullet. Some teeth, I think. It's just like all the textures and stuff. I did not expect to find all this stuff. This is, I think, the texture or the sprite that goes on the plumes of feathers that fly out of the dinosaurs. So we can look at some other stuff on the disk here. So XPRs we should be able to open. Greed Explorer looks like is mostly the way I discovered it was through the Dead or Alive modding community. So you can open this up and view 3D models of the characters in the Dead or Alive games and then mess with the textures and stuff on them, which I haven't done. Unfortunately, none of the 3D models, like this is the texture for Algo, but if we do object viewer, you can see the little viewport, like the coordinate legend down here. So it's trying to view something, but I don't think it knows where the 3D model is. I have not found a setting in Greed Explorer that'll let me view the actual 3D models, but we got the texture thumbnails. And when I happened into this directory, I said, oh no. Actually, hang on a sec. We got to open a different set here. Got to go back. Got to go over here. Okay, now we should be good. Yeah, okay. So it was right about here when I said, oh wow, these are the Japanese menus in the game. I don't know what these say, but this is the menu system that's in the game. Can I come down here, wherever it is highlighted? It's kind of hard to see on this other screen. There it is. you can replace these textures. So over the course of the last week, so now I've had another week with the game, and I think I spent a week cleaning up the Xbox and getting it running better and stuff. I still wanted to make a video about everything I did on that, but now I've spent a week digging through these files here. Let me just click down through them here. Checking out these files and figuring out how 20-year-old, I mean, DDS files are older than 20 years, but this game being made almost 20 years ago, figuring out how this file system works to do stuff like, let's see, general, I think is the, nope, not general, load save. So this was the very first thing I did. So here's, I immediately recognize these from the title screen where you pick your files. And let me go back this way, back in here. And now if we load up load save, I've spent a bunch of time trying to match fonts and colors and kerning on a lot of these textures. So when I get to the game, we will actually have a almost completely translated English front end. Unfortunately, all of the text in the game is coded into bin files, and it might possibly point. Let me jump up one directory here. Hey, Algo. It might be code that points to coordinates in this sprite. And so it's saying, you know, Malone, go bam, bam, bam. These are the characters for Malone. So unfortunately, translating the in-game text, like the info about the dinosaurs, unfortunately, the text that's on the voice plates, I was really hopeful that one of these files, like, now we got to jump back to where we were. It's really hopeful that there would just be a file like this that had, you know, all of the text in Japanese called out, like a sprite for each voice plate, but it is coded to a font that's in the game. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to figure that out. I've tried a little bit, but that might be a second pass at this game. So far, what we're going to have is, I'm still working on some of it, translations for the menu system. So if you're seeing this game for the first time, or if you want to try and play through it yourself, and are not as familiar with it, of course, I've played this game off and on for almost 20 years, also like 3 or 4 times over the last 15 years. So I already kind of know my way around the menu system. But if you were going to start this game up for the first time, I will definitely share out the files once I'm done completely editing stuff here. Some of the stuff already came, like the game already had a lot of English in it. You know, one of the reasons that it's as playable as it is without knowing Japanese is that all of the cutscenes are in English. And see, I was really hopeful that this would be referenced somewhere else, that maybe I could point to or convert. Let's see. This was fun. I got the I realized that the little animated stick that they show in the tutorial is actually just showing each square chunk of this. So in the game, it animates. You see the stick move up, down, left, and right. And then when you click, it blinks this one on and this one on. So back and forth. So it's been kind of fun to see how these sprites get interpreted in the game, even though I don't really know how it works, how it's coded on that end. Some of the other interesting things I found in here, though, where is option? The most interesting thing, it's on one of these other ones. Hold on a sec. Where is it? There it is. It's under the title menu. And I found this and was so incredibly excited again at the start. These are 2 separate sprites. This one was all originally in Japanese. and did not have this English transparency here. And this one was all in English. So this language menu with the selection between Japanese and English doesn't actually exist in the game, but it looks like they were building it, or they built it with an English system in mind. So when Metro 3D took over publishing, they probably had a lot of this groundwork in place to just come in and start putting in English um, menus and English text in the game, like you can see in several screenshots. I should actually jump over to a bunch of those because I have not shown those off on a video or a stream or anything. Let me find those. We don't need to save that. We'll get to that in a few here, but let me get it open so I don't forget. All right. So, pre-story. So what I've done, this is another good frame that's like a decent resolution that we can take out and use in backgrounds for videos. So I do have screenshots from the English version of the game, pre-release, of this frame and this frame. So I rewrote them as accurately as I could. The screenshots I have are lower resolution than these are, than these 1024 by 512s. The JPEGs I have are pretty crummy looking. We'll actually see in a minute. So I had to take the Japanese versions of the frames, and you know what? Let's just do this. I think we can do it that way. Yeah. Blur out and clone out a lot of the Japanese in the background, kind of recreate some of the backdrop, and then put my text over it. So these last three frames are kind of embellished. I kind of tried to keep them in the style of the writing of the first two. Maybe took a little poetic license with some of it. The tutorial, not tutorial, it's on the prepare screen. This one I just finished up today. This stuff was really cool to see implemented on the screens where you make the tranquilizer darts. This stuff is just kind of second nature now, but this would have helped immensely to just have these tips in English on the screen the first couple times I played the game. Some other interesting things here. It looks like, and I have not tried this game. Now I know that there are easy, normal, hard, and very hard difficulty settings. There are different difficulties in this game. I have not tried it on a different difficulty. I've always left it on the default of possibly, it might have been easy. I think I've played it on normal. What was I saying? So I don't know if the other difficulties, it looks like from what I've translated of the manual, the difficulty just means you lose more health when you get hit. So it's just that kind of difficulty. It doesn't look like it adds more mechanics, but there is this concept in here. In the game itself, I don't think you even see any of these three icons, but it looks like they have at least three different kinds of tranquilizer darts. So instead of just mixing a dart with red, green, and blue, you might have mixed it with red, green, and blue and then used it, I don't know, like a hollow point, or maybe it's for penetrating armor, like scales, or, for soft underbelly or something. And then there's this other concept. It's on, where is that title? Not tutorial, not title. Where are we at here? It's in the inventory screen, I think. There are these. So we've got red, green, and blue. Those are all in the game. But this one is called... Wait, there's another title somewhere else also. There's a reagent, I think, and there's one that breaks down the compounds, I think. And then there's this M that's like a magnolium. Item select. Load save. Where the heck were those other ones at? Oh, they're in, sorry, one more directory in here. I think they're in this data. So all of these were in English. I haven't had to translate anything. Diluent and a condensate. So those are red, green, and blue. And then a magnolian. And I haven't been back through the game yet at this point, but I feel like these magnolias show up somewhere in the game. They might even be a pickup, but I have no idea what the magnolian, the condensate, or the diluent are for. It looks like, so condensate, those arrows are pointing in, diluent, they're spreading out. So it's some kind of, like if you overmixed or undermixed your formula, maybe you could add those quickly to your existing darts. And then the magnolian, I have no idea what that might be in the context of the game. It's really kind of mind-blowing and fascinating to find this stuff in there. I've already gone in and redone the loading screen for each chapter. These don't stay zoomed in, do they? No, they don't. They jump back out. So I've redone those and did the same kind of thing where you can see some Japanese back there. I just blurred it out and put in like a whole overall Gaussian blur bar there to kind of blend it in a little bit. I thought that worked out pretty well instead of spending a week cloning out around each Japanese character back there. We've got a couple other things here. Oh, right. Here are all the textures for all the dinosaurs. That's kind of awesome to see. Unfortunately, no 3D viewer, which would have been even better. Although the game itself has a 3D model viewer, so they may not have even built them this way. I believe these are all sound effects over here, but these do not open outside of the game. At least I haven't found a way so far. Yeah, this is fantastic stuff to see, like, just like so high res and outside of the game. Albino velociraptor. Like that, this texture doesn't even look that good in the game, I don't think. And you never get to see it that motionless. That's still up close. If you've ever been into any kind of game development, I'm sure this is all kind of basic and second nature at this point, but I've never gotten too close to a lot of these tools and stuff, so pardon me for geeking out. When I first saw that I could replace the textures, and the very first time that I replaced a texture in the game, I jumped up and down and was very happy. Let's see, were they in here, I think? So these are all textures that go with each of the cutscenes. So different trees and foliage and stuff that's in the background of each of the cutscenes. And then we get down, I think, into, where are those? Did we already look at all these? Yeah, I guess not. Okay. These are just all cutscenes with the different characters in them. That seems rather high res. I guess it's only 512 by 256 like the rest, but it looks sharper. And some of these you can get. Where are our in-game objects at? I've not poked around in these in a little while. It's not under enemy. Sound sprites, not videos. There are a couple of videos on here. I was already in the field one. Ending? No. Sprites search. Nope. Sorry. Wrong one. Also wrong screen. No, that's not them. Anyways, the textures for like the shotgun shells and the rifle bullets and stuff, of course, you can get way more up close on them than you can in the game itself. God, I swear they're in that folder. I just keep trying that folder. They're not in movie. They're in field. I swear they would be in the field. No, we're back here again. Anyways, that is the majority of what I've found in the game's file structure here. These XPR files have textures. There are a few bin files that would have the like the scripting and stuff in it that I have not been able to parse. I think that's where all the text is encoded at. So theoretically, if I could get that open in an application that they made the game in, it might be possible to translate more of the game. And there's some stuff that just I can't figure out why I can't find a way to edit it. We'll see in the actual playthrough. This is the Metal Gear Solid. I almost said this is the Microsoft Game Studio intro video. CDX is like that the Xbox Live demo section of the main menu has a separate menu and then trailers for Magatama, Mech Assault, and True Fantasy Live Online, which was I need to re-rip again in a higher quality. That's a MMO that never came out on the Xbox in Japan. The movie folder, I believe these are all the scripts for, like we can see the textures here, but it's also the scripts for the cutscenes. So that's what they mean by movie. I think that's about all that we can see in there. Some other stuff that you can get to on the disc, though, in the music folder. So this is where I probably need to turn that down. Also on my own speed. This is where I had gotten the original soundtrack files for the soundtrack that I made from the game. And then it's got a separate huge folder down here of, these are all short, all the cutscene music. So thinking back and forth between Greed Explorer and this and the file structure, you can really see how like the game is built and when you load a scene, where it's pulling everything from, which directories and folders and paths and stuff. It's really revealing. And I know that kind of information is out there. If you've ever watched, I feel like they cover it in just about any behind the scenes type of making of video, but actually poking around in it myself has been great to see, especially for a game that I've seen and touched for so long. And also, gosh, it ended up getting stuck in the middle, I think. Sweet Euphoria is in here too from Hips, the ending theme of the game. I don't know where it's at anymore. But yeah, I'll probably be doing another version of the soundtrack because these are, despite saying mono down here, the bitrate is higher than my current MP3s, so they could use an update. So I'll probably be doing that too. So we've got an exciting playthrough coming up, the most English version of Dinosaur Hunting that you can see without being one of the people who owns one of those rare copies from Metro 3D, the pre-release builds of the game. And I don't actually know if those are even content complete or translation complete, but I was going to jump over to the screenshots from the English version. Duh. Let me add this real quick. Actually, you know what? We can just cut back over here. This was green screened out in some other streams I had done. But anyways, you can see, so I'll be aiming to match that font treatment in my in the sprite folder. So here are the original screenshots. These are way too blurry and low resolution to just import directly into the game. This one looks a little better. Still didn't look good in there though. There's too much artifacting between those lines. But here's some of the other English screenshots from, GameSpy, everybody's favorite gaming news website. This is the stuff that I cannot translate. I wish I could because the thick reads are blocking my view. Curse this damp hole. I would love to have that campy character in the game. And the game is on such a tight time limit that, like, we can stop. I'm probably going to end up doing multiple playthroughs anyways because I want to stop and hold Google Translate up to stuff like this now that technology exists, and try and get a little more of this kind of information out of the game. But that is going to run down our timer. We are not going to make it to that volcano. Here's a little bit more from some English screenshots. I think these are all out there. I mean, like worthplaying.com. I'm not sure if they're still around, but these screenshots and stuff have definitely been around. I don't know how many more there might be out there. So this is the sample that I based all of the changes I made on. There's that one, and oops. Did this pressing this arrow button do something? Okay, good. This one, so Foggy Lake, Colossal Forest, and then the rest were either direct translations or I kind of embellished a little bit from knowing what the stages and stuff are. So here's just a little more English. Unfortunately, all of this is in Japanese in our game. This will at least be translated. I'll get to those. Metro 3D had the benefit of having the game tools to work with. So in the Japanese version, the D-pad, the A, and the B are all a lot closer together because of the Japanese characters in between. So I had to, instead of confirm, mine just says go. Because that's about all that, only a 3-letter word would fit in there. And con did not seem like an appropriate abbreviation of confirm for that case. That all looks pretty much the same. So this will be all in Japanese still. How many would you like to purchase? Now we've nailed the formula. God, I'd love to have a Japanese or an English version of this game. I have a Japanese version. So here's some of the voice plate dialogue. Best way to concoct a formula. Got to get dino samples. I feel like a lot of the voice plates are probably just tool tips. Probably not a lot of exposition there. Oh, you know what? I just made these changes today, and yeah, see, they were able to move those arrows farther apart. Huh. Yeah, I did not match that text. Didn't even realize that screenshot was in here. And there's some English screenshots from IGN. Those might still be on their website. I have no idea. And then there'll be updates from the other teams up at the top. Like when you take down one of the dinosaurs, I imagine the text that comes up is like, gosh, the American team already took down a Tyrannosaur. I can't believe it. Yeah, so I was able to translate the text on the L trigger, but none of the rest of this that's in English. So it helps a little bit, but not a ton. I think that is that's all of the. Oh, and then the American box art or the box art they might have used. I think that's about all I've got over here. Forget that low res scan now. I got something way better. All right, so I think that's about all the extra content and stuff that I found in the game. I just wanted to show that off because seeing that stuff in Greed Explorer, being able to get into the game files like that is a surprise, like a joy, a bonus that I did not expect to have with acquiring this game and getting back into it again. I could have looked that stuff up years ago. That tool is decades old, almost as old as the Xbox is, I think. So I could have gotten into it a long time ago, but getting the game, getting a physical copy of the game and stuff, that really spurted on and trying to do this better, higher resolution, newer capture of the game. Um, yeah. Yeah, so we will there will eventually be accompanying videos with with an actual playthrough of the game. We'll see it actually in motion with some of my English changes in it. I just wanted to throw this together to kind of buy me some more time to translate some stuff, and we'll get into it soon. So hopefully, look for that around this video, alongside this video, and I'll be back with more dinosaur hunting soon ish.